Yeah, let's talk about life. Let's talk about this life, the life that we're all sharing together. Yeah, if you've been alive for any period of time, you've probably noticed it's pretty unpredictable. It it's kind of like this raucous, juicy, sometimes gritty, sometimes smooth and easy, vibrant, I don't know, explosion, I guess you could call it. And then sometimes not an explosion at all, sometimes just absolute stillness. It's saturated with joy and connection and others. It's also full of sadness and loss and heartache. It's deeply loving, and that love allows for deep sorrow. When you feel into this life, I know when I feel into this life, it can feel like really messy. Like, this is a bit of a mess. It's kind of this chaotic, unpredictable experience, really. And it's what we've all got. This is our manifestation, this life. I used to think that mess or messiness, the messiness of this life equaled a problem. Equaled bad, essentially. Like it's the messiness that's causing me pain and suffering. And what I try to do is in my mind with thoughts as a self moving through time, I try to get it all tidy again, basically. I tried to pull all these different fragments of life together into a cohesive storyline, or, well, millions of cohesive storylines that would make sense, whatever that means, whatever making sense means. But it gave the illusion that I could kind of hold all of this in thought, and I could stop it from being so unpredictable and chaotic and messy, and I'd find safety somewhere, or I'd find happiness, like lasting happiness, if I just got all the pieces to match. If I just kind of glued it together, or if I thought about it in exactly the right way, or I planned my life in exactly the right way, it would all, just slot together and give me forever happiness. And I really struggled with this for so many years. And what was kind of sunk underneath the struggle was the implication that the reason it's not going well for me, or the reason I'm suffering so much, is because I'm no good at getting life to fit together. I need to be better at planning, let's say, or ordering life, or playing the game. I need to be a more well-adjusted personality, let's say. I needed a job and security around me that would kind of give me senses of safety. I needed to be kinder. I needed to be more loving. Or I needed to not be a walkover. I needed to push bad people away to protect myself and others. And you can feel I can feel it when I speak now, that I need to be different. That was kind of what was driving this desperate movement in thought to get all this unbound life to make sense. And if I could only get it right, if I could just get it right, then I'd be okay. People would see me as being successful, and I'd be happy forever. And my experience so far has been, well, that doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And the reason it doesn't work is because it's based in delusion. That way of thinking about the world is based in delusion. So the delusion is that I can think about all of this and I can make it predictable. I can make it permanent. I can make it ultimately satisfying. And I can put things in place so I would get this permanent sense of everything's okay. If I just got the right plan, then everything would go to plan. And it doesn't take long, you can get a plan that feels really solid, really robust, and it doesn't take long before it just falls apart. Life just says, nope, that's not how this is. Any plan that you make, or any plan that I made, couldn't bind life to it. Or existence, the universe, whatever you want to call this. And it kind of makes sense, really, doesn't it? Now it feels kind of ridiculous to say, oh, if I think about things enough, I can change all of the conditions in the universe to move around me so that I get everything that I want and life's going to be satisfactory. I mean, for me now, that just sounds wildly delusional. Of course that's not going to work. How can a thought or a series of thoughts, just words in the mind or images in the mind, how can that change all of this unbound, chaotic, energetic, vibrant life? How can it change all of that to just, follow my plan? So I'm talking about this because if you're on a path of awakening, let's say, if you've been practicing to wake up, whatever that means, you might have this feeling that awakening is going to give you this straightforward, unmessy, predictable life once you awaken. So I feel like I'll wake up, I'll get the order I've been looking for all my life. And you won't. You won't. But that's not a problem. In fact, it's beautiful. Because instead of fighting, once we wake up, instead of fighting against the way things are, which is unpredictable, unbound, energetic, impermanent, instead of fighting against that with thoughts trying to make it the opposite, we are able to just open to the mess of it all, a beautiful, gorgeous, chaotic, unctuous, juicy mess of all of this life. We no longer think that we can predict and control everything, anything really. And we start to open just in each present moment to what's here. And naturally, as life, we respond to it. And it's messy. It is messy. But that's no problem. It's beautiful, in fact. So if you feel like your life is sometimes a bit messy, or if you're thinking, right, well, I can get rid of this mess by practicing spirituality or moving towards awakening, don't put so much pressure on yourself. That's a lot of pressure to carry, that I, through something that I do and something that I think, can fix the messiness, the unpredictability of life. I mean, that's a lot. So don't worry too much if your life is a bit of a mess, or it feels a bit messy, out of order, out of sync. That's okay. That's okay. Just work with what's in front of you gently and with kindness, and see if you can open up to the unpredictability without putting pressure on yourself to fix it all, to plan everything to the last detail. to just be with what's here. And the more you're able to do that, the more you feel the vibrancy of this unpredictability. The more you feel alive, actually fully alive. So whether you're awake, whether you're deluded, whether you're somewhere in between, this life is messy for everyone. And that's not a problem.